Good morning, everyone. It is Friday morning, and I go back to work tonight. So we're gonna do a little bit of meal prep for work for the next couple of days. I'm gonna do this in the order of how I would eat it. I guess you could say throughout the day. So I'm gonna start with an egg bake. It's gonna be really, really high in protein, like extremely high in protein. Gonna have a lot of deli meat, and then also eggs, of course. So it's really, really high. I do that so that I can have like one slice, one serving size of it in the morning with like a side of broccoli or something and be good until later in the day. Because I typically don't do a lunch. I do like the late or early dinner, if you will. And I'll let that be my last meal of the day. So I'm going to let these sweat down for a second before I add the onions. Because I'm also going to do onions as well. Okay, we'll let these sweat down and then I'll be back. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and add our onions in as well. Because those bell peppers were frozen, I didn't want to just plop the onions in with it. Want to let some of that water evaporate from the bell peppers. Now we'll let these sweat down together. Whenever bell peppers are on sale, I just buy a bunch of them and cut them up and put them in the freezer. They freeze way better than onions. I typically just buy onions fresh, like this one's a fresh onion. I typically just buy those fresh because they freeze okay for a short period of time. After a while, they're gonna freeze fine. But bell peppers hold up amazingly. So we're gonna let this sweat, and then we'll be back to add the deli meat that we're gonna add in as well. Okay, I did add some seasonings to this and some salt. One thing that saves me a lot of time when I'm doing a big meal prep is to pre-make my seasoning blend beforehand, so I don't have to keep reaching back and forth into the cabinet to get it. Only thing I don't add to it is salt. I salt everything individually, but everything else, all my spices, my seasonings, I put them together prior to me cooking. And sometimes I make one or two, depending on if I don't want the same flavor profile for everything, But pre-make your seasoning blend, that way you don't have to keep reaching for it, Okay, I'm gonna add in the deli meat. It's gonna be a mix of ham and turkey. And really we're just letting it like heat there. Like that's really good. We're just letting it heat there. And yes, I know this is a lot of meat, but again, I like it high in protein so that I can have one serving size and be good. I can have it early in the morning and be good for the rest of the day until about 3, 4. If I get famished, I have like a little piece of fruit or something. But it's high in protein, high in calorie, so it's good. But we're gonna let this just sweat out essentially, and then we'll be back. Okay, as you can see, this is sweating down, has sweated down. I'm gonna turn it off so that it can cool down a bit before I add it to the eggs. Just a bit. It doesn't have to cool off a whole lot. And the egg bake is really just like a quiche or frittata. It just doesn't have the crust. The frittata doesn't have the crust anyway. But I would typically put this in a quiche like pie form, but it's too much, so it's gonna spill over. So I just do it in like a aluminum foil pan and just call it done. And it's same thing, honestly. But yeah, this is sweated out. And now we're going to work on the eggs. Okay, I have in this bowl 10 eggs that I'm just going to break up. And then we'll start to add the rest of our ingredients one by one. So let me get these broken up and then I'll be right back. I swear, mixing up a bunch of eggs is literally the hardest task ever. Those eggs, the egg and the yolk and that white do not be want to mix, though. They do not. You really have to put the wrist work into it. Okay. Now I'm just going to add in some half and half just to stretch them. And then also going to add some lift to it as well. Okay. Get that mixed in. Seasoning extremely simple, just salt and pepper. That's enough for that. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of baking powder. That aids in the lift that I want. I want it to keep the lift because it'll rise in the oven, but then after it comes out, it'll start to sink. I want it to keep a good chunk of that rise. Get that mixed in. Okay, now I'm going to add in spinach, frozen spinach that I let unthaw, and I also squeezed out all of the extra moisture. You got to squeeze out all the extra moisture. You have to. Get that incorporated, break that up really good. It's gonna see this. It covers all the. It covers everything you need. You know, you got some green in there. You got plenty of protein. Like it covers everything. Covers everything. And then the spinach is also rich in fiber. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and add in the peppers and the ham and turkey. Pouring it in with a slotted spoon because I don't want any of the extra moisture that comes with it. Okay, we got that added. Now we're just gonna give it a good stir to get everything incorporated. I'm gonna pop it in the oven, in a 400-degree oven. I'm gonna start it in my oven, then I'm gonna finish in my convection oven, just because I'm gonna need my oven for something else as well. And that pan is really big, so yeah. But we're gonna get that in the oven. And then we'll start on the next dish that I'm meal prepping. Ooh, that might spill over. That might spill over. If so, that's okay. But I think it is. I've never had it that high to the edge. Ew. I forgot to add cheese to this too. That's okay. Okay, go pop that in the oven. Let it cook. It does take a while to cook. Take like 45 minutes or an hour, don't lie. So yeah, we're gonna pop that in 400-degree oven and let it do what it do. The egg bake is done. Look at how beautiful that looks. Like, and look how thick it is. Like literally, it's like I cut this into 8. A slice of it. That's all you need. Pair with a little side dish with a little broccoli, frozen broccoli. You're good to go. But that's done. It looks amazing. I'm gonna let it chill out, let it cool off, then we'll store it. I store it in this pan. It comes with like a little lid thing on top of it. So I just store it right in here, pop it in the fridge, and it keeps all week. All week. All right, next thing we've been prepping is gonna be some smothered pork chops. Yes, smothered pork chops. Y'all probably like, what? Meal prep smothered pork chops? Yes, meal prep smothered pork chops. And what we're gonna have go with those. I realize that is funny though. But what we're gonna have go with those. This is gonna be some basmati rice and quinoa. Hold on one second. So in that pot, it's just gonna be basmati rice and quinoa. I like to mix these because I mean, I like basmati rice. This is my rice of preference, and it's been soaking for about an hour now. Basmati rice, you really do have to soak it, honestly. I typically don't soak quinoa, but I just add it in anyway, just because I'm just like it might as well soak all together. But I like to combine the two because I don't just like the carb on its own. I like to add something to it to take it up another notch. And the quinoa adds fiber. It adds richness, and quinoa is a superfood, so I like to add the two together, and it's absolutely amazing. And it carries, and I have a little bit of it with each meal. Actually, I'm lying, not with each meal. I have some of it with at least one of my meals a day, at least one of them. I typically have anywhere from 2.5 to 3 meals a day, typically. But the pork chops, I've had these seasoned and marinated for a good little minute. So we're gonna I'm just gonna flour them up, and then we're gonna start pan frying them. We're doing everything in this one pan. Everything in this one pan. And then this pan goes straight to the oven as well. One of these I'm gonna set aside because I'm gonna fry it in a minute. I'm gonna show y'all that too. But yeah, gonna go and get these floured up and popped in, and then we'll be back. Alright, we're about to pop these in the pan. Gonna add in some oil. This is just some avocado oil. roasted garlic flavor. I may add in a little butter later too. But for now, I'm just gonna add everything. These, anyway, they say they pork chops. They really pork steaks that they just cut. It had 2 actual pork chops in there, which I'm gonna fry. So yeah, but yeah, it's not really pork chops. So I decided to just fry the pork steak. Fry the actual pork chops, and then smother the pork steaks because they're so big anyway. So they'll take time to cook down. Okay. I'm gonna let these come up and do what they do, and then when you see them back again, they'll be all browned all over. I don't know if I said this in the first clip, but self-rising flour for the flour. Always self-rising flour. No all-purpose and then adding your own leavening agents. No, just do self-rising flour. Only do self-rising. Now, this is the color I'm going for here. This pan is about to get me the blues. Yeah, that's what I want. It was about to get me the blues, man. I was about to be like, okay, whatever. Yeah. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Ah, that pan looks hot. Okay. We're going to let these sit a little long on the upside. Then we're going to start on the gravy. Alright. We're going to take these bad boys out. Ooh. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. We're going to put them to the side and literally just sit them on the lid of the pan. Ooh. That's what I want. This flavor. That's what I want. I ain't had no smothered in a minute. So this is overdue. Okay. I'm gonna turn this down. And then I'm gonna add in my bell peppers, let them sweat. Before I add these bell peppers in, I just gotta tell you how good it feels to just be in your home, be in your space. I got my AirPods in right now, like listening to music, feeling amazing, like feeling God throughout every inch of my space. It's a different feeling. I swear to God, it's a different feeling, man. It's a different feeling. It's a different feeling. Okay, but also another note. Let's go add these bell peppers in. We're going to let these sweat out with that leftover fat that's in the pan. Don't let them drop into too. And then sweat out. And then we'll add the onion in. Alright, onion in. We're going to throw those in. I'm going to go ahead and season these with a little bit of salt and pepper. Season every layer lightly. Every layer lightly. But for this, just salt and pepper. I'm going to add in some butter as well. And let that be the last bit of fat that we add in. That'll start the prep for our flour, for our roux. So we're going to let these sweat down. And then once they're sweated, when we get ready to add the flour, we'll be back. Okay, so this is sweated down perfectly. So we're going to add in our flour. We use the same flour that we use to flour the pork chops in. Same flour. I'm gonna try not to make a large amount of gravy because I have a tendency of doing that. Like I have a tendency to really do that. Okay, we're gonna let this flour cook out, then we'll be back. To bump this up in flavor, we're also going to add in some Lipton onion soup mix. That's going to pretty much provide a good chunk of flavor, seasoning that we need. So we don't have to go crazy with it. The other package didn't have a lot in there because I used it for something else. But we're going to let that cook down as well. And then we'll go in and add our liquid, which is just going to be water. Add the water in stages so that you don't get any clumping. This is the first bit that I'm adding. And I'll add the second and third bit in a second. Second thing of water going in, slowly. This is going to be, I'm probably not going to use all this water, but this is going to be my last bit of it that I'm going to add. Actually, I will. So this is going to thicken up quite nicely. Okay. I'm scraping the bottom to make sure that I don't have anything sticking. Just gonna season with that season blend. Start there. Keep that started. Okay, I'm letting this thicken. I did add some additional salt and pepper to this, and then I also added a few drops of Maggi seasoning as well. But I'm going to continue to let this thicken, and then I'm going to add back in the pork chops and let it cook. All right, now we're going to add back in the pork chops. Let those submerge. As you can see, I still made too much gravy, but that's okay. It will get ate. It will indeed get ate up. Trying to get them all muscle, didn't I, Charlie? I don't know how they not fitting right now here. They just fit a second ago. I think I have them in a different position. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, I'm actually going to let these sit on the stove for a second, on top of the stove for a second, because I need my oven for so much right now. So, I'm just going to let those sit on top of the stove. And just big on the grill. And then I'm going to start on my last protein. We'll be back. I'm also going to go ahead and cook the rice and quinoa as well. Go ahead and get that done. Okay, the last protein that we're going to prepare for the week is going to be just some oven baked salmon. I already got these seasoned up. I seasoned with some salt, some lemon pepper, and some salt, lemon pepper, and Old Bay. I like to keep salmon really simple. Like it's plain and simple. I don't like to do a lot with it. I also hit it with some lemon as well. Some fresh lemon juice as well. Gonna pop this in a 400-degree oven. Let it bake. It's probably gonna take about 10-15 minutes at the most. It may get a nice color on it, it may not. It really don't matter. But we're just gonna pop that in the oven, let it do what it do, and then we're about to wrap this up actually, because this is the last thing I have to cook. So yeah. I also leave the skin on my salmon because it helps it keep its shape. After it's done cooking and everything, it helps it keep its shape. So I do keep the skin on my salmon. You got that pork chop. Fry hard, baby. Hard. Yeah. The rice and quinoa is also done. I actually didn't even notice. It just so happened I looked up. I was like, let me check on it. And all the liquid had evaporated, but it's done. I'm gonna let this cool just a little bit, and then I'll fluff it, and then we'll be prepared to store it. I also want to show y'all really quick how I store my berries because they were on sale this week, so I picked some up. So these are my these are my raspberries and my blackberries. How I store my berries is I put them in I put them in an airtight container. I typically prefer to put them in glass, just because air and other things, it doesn't penetrate it as quickly. But I put them in a container like this, and I spread them out so they're not really touching or bunching up on each other. And I put a paper towel on the bottom, and I place another paper towel on top of them, and then I close the lid. I do not wash my berries until I eat them. I don't wash them before. Moisture and berries, that's how they go bad quickly. Just store them like this. I promise you they last so much longer like this, like so much longer. You'll still get some that'll go bad in there a little bit, especially if they're ripe. These are ripe. But this is like the perfect way to store them. They also had strawberries as well. This one isn't in an airtight container, but it's in a container nonetheless. So yeah, again, don't wash them until you're about to eat them or use them. Do not. Moisture is a berry's worst enemy. It will make it go bad like that. Don't wash them until you either use them or eat them. And they don't need all of you just need to rinse them with water. That's it. Rinse them with water, pour the water off. That's it. You don't need anything else. I promise you don't, not for berries. But yeah, that's how I store my berries. And they last way longer in the fridge. I can get a good 5 days out of these. Like a good 5 days. I'll eat some in a second actually. But yeah, just wanted to show that. Our salmon is also done. We're gonna let this cool off, and then we're gonna store it up in the fridge. Everything is literally also off. It's done. The pork chops are also done. I'm gonna pour those out in a second. So, just to recap, as far as the main courses that we have our salmon. We have our egg bake, which is full, and you see it has sunk a little bit. And then we also have our pork chops. We also have our smothered pork chops, which look divine. Like they look divine. Oh, look, they already tender. They already tender. Already tender. That's good. And then we did the rice as well. That's done. I already put that in the fridge. And then for my side, for my veggies, I always do good old frozen broccoli from Trader Joe's. Get the best bag to the buck. You get a 16-ounce bag for $2. Like that's in the city. Unless it's on sale somewhere else, but this is typically my veg. So we have these smothered pork chops. We have the salmon, smothered pork chops. We have the salmon, and then we have the egg bake. And then for veggie, we have frozen broccoli, and then we also have the rice for carb. We all set for week. That's it for the day, y'all. I'm about to start prepping. We started at like 6, and now it's 9 o'clock. So I'm about to shower, get my work clothes together, and chill out for the rest of the day. Y'all be blessed. Remember, only God's love is present. Everything else is just extra. Get in the kitchen, prep that food, so that you ain't got to worry about that for the rest of the week. You ain't got to turn the oven on. Well, I turn my oven on because I don't have a microwave, so I heat my food up in the oven or my convection oven. But that's all. You know, go ahead and prep that food. Prep multiple proteins. Frozen veggies are the way to go. I used to be a huge on the chop everything warrior as far as like veggies go. But maybe that's not as time consuming. Those frozen veggies have the same amount of nutrients. Get them. All you gotta do is pop them in the microwave. Pop them in the microwave for a minute. They're done, ready to eat. Good. But yeah, that's it. Y'all have a blessed one. Again, only God's love is present. Everything else just extra. Peace.